Hi, Casselberrians. It is now time to have a casual conversation for the beneficial good of our community. The show you are about to listen to is called What's Up, Casselberry? And now it is my absolute pleasure to introduce to you your hosts, Andy and Drew.
Oh, and don't forget that lovely producer, Robin.
What's up, podcast listeners? Welcome back to another episode of the What's Up Casselberry podcast. This is a big one, folks. Another milestone, episode number 90. That's right. We're getting closer and closer to the ever-present 100th episode. We've been hinting at it. If you're a regular listener, if you're a first-timer, welcome. We are meeting every week. My name is Drew Taylor. My co-host partner is Andy Searles. Our producer is Robin Kepi. And every week we come on this program to share about all things Casselberry, and we're excited to be with you. Andy, you've already got your hand raised. You got something to share.
I do, Drew. You know, you're making a big deal about episode 100, and that is a milestone. But you know what's going to be better than episode 100?
What?
Episode 101. Right? Because we're just going to keep getting better and better and better. And I just want to give a shout out to our lovely producer, Robin, as we call her. I think that's her official name now, because last week's episode was just edited so well, and it was funny and it was engaging and it was awesome. Not awesome because Drew and I were awesome, which Drew is. And I probably need to say that because I dissed him a little bit last week. Not just bad. Because our guest was awesome, but because of your magic fingers, Robin, and deleting the right stuff and editing it. So episode 101 is going to be better than 100 because of Robin.
Andy, you know what I think? I think the reason why this past episode was so good, and listeners, if you haven't heard it, go back and listen to episode 89. But I think it was so excellent. Robin always does a great job, but she was on vacation the previous week and is well rested. Robin, tell us a little bit about your vacation.
Well, yes, I'm refreshed. So I had a clean brain to work with, I guess. I did absolutely nothing except for my birthday was that week. So somehow every day of that week, someone took me out for one meal or multiple meals, and therefore had like half my grocery bill cut in half. So, you know, blessings upon blessings.
Awesome. Robin, I want to meet your friends so they can take me out for meals on my birthday.
Some of them are your friends too.
You have some amazing friends.
I do.
That sounds like a fantastic time. Robin, there was one thing on your social medias. If you don't follow Robin Kepi, please do. She's worth the follow. But she posted a really funky, cool looking beverage and with the label Japan underneath. And I know that's one of your goals is to travel to Asia. What was that all about that night?
Well, my friends took me to this place. It's considered Lake Buena Vista. So like right outside, like by Disney Springs. And it's called Sushiru. And it's like a Japanese gastropub. So inside is decorated really cool with like retro Japanese, like robot toys, like think Power Rangers and Mega Man and all those things. And the drink was called Layover in Tokyo. So the, foam or decoration, it was an adult drink, by the way, but it was like the Japanese flag. So it was white with the red dot in the middle, like the rising sun. And it was delicious. I only had one.
You must have been in heaven with sushi and
Power Rangers.
Everything. Yes,
Power Rangers
it was literally
and all
like,
that kind of stuff.
I had never heard of it and never been to it. My friends like, we should go there. And they have sushi, but it's like things I can't even say I've ever had anywhere else. And it was super delicious. So Sushiru, please sponsor us.
Do you think there would be a place in Casselberry for such a fine dining establishment?
I do. I will keep them in business myself.
If y'all have not been to Wa Sushi is very good.
Wa Sushi is very good, yes.
In the plaza behind Buffalo Wild Wings. Yeah, that place is delicious. And we've gone there for a couple special occasions and all. Well, Robin, happy birthday on behalf of the What's Up Casselberry news team and podcast team. We love you very much and appreciate all you do, including this next section, laughing at our dad jokes.
Yay.
Here we go. All right, Andy, you've got a couple from our friend Doug. I've got a couple, so we'll just we'll rattle them off. All right, and Karen Allman, these are for you, lady. I loved getting that shout out. That was so sweet of Karen for laughing at our banter back and forth.
Yeah, like I said, laughing at, not with, I think.
Yes. Robin, I'm going to return the favor and get Andy on this one. Andy, this might be you.
Oh, dear.
Here we go.
Oh, dear.
If you're ever attacked by a mob of clowns, go for the juggler.
Okay.
All right, that's number one.
What's that got to do with me? What's that got
You're
to
a
do with me?
clown.
You know, I'm a juggler too, actually. Did you know that?
You can juggle?
I can. You know, in fact, this is a little bit weird, and just to reveal some of my nerdiness, I actually spend 5 minutes a day juggling. I find it helpful to concentrate.
Wow.
Wow.
Kind of clears my mind of stress and just focuses intently on something for a few minutes. And I mean, I can't do more than 3, sometimes 4.
That's
Anybody
impressive.
that knows Andy Searles knows that he juggles multiple things a day with all that he's about. So, well done, my friend. But that actually makes sense that you kind of clear your mind and just do something physical and then reset yourself. That's awesome. What a cool, we learned something new about you. All right, here we go. Hopefully this does not apply to your life. So I'm just going to give you that warning ahead of time. Here we go. Joke number 2. A dung beetle walks into a bar. A dung beetle walks into a bar and says, "Is this stool taken?"
It's funny, but
There you have it. Those are my dad jokes of the week.
this crude joke.
Well, do you want me to share a couple of Doug
Yes,
jokes
redeem it.
from my constant texter friend Doug?
Yes.
All right, these are a little bit more sophisticated than Drew's. I hope you can get them, Drew.
It doesn't take much. The bar,
My poor knowledge of Greek mythology has always been my Achilles elbow.
All right.
That is very smart.
Yeah, but no, seriously, fall is coming and temperatures are dropping. I was in a corn maze the other day. Did you know that?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was a little bit nervous because it felt like I was being stalked. And in fact, it was quite eerie.
There you go. Nice. A 2-for-1. There you have it, folks. The dad jokes from 2 dads of the week.
It is now time for your local update about things happening in your community. It is now time for Casselberry in the News.
All right, Andy, we've got some Casselberry in the News quick hitters for our listeners today. First quick hitter was from me on the ground. We were recently, my wife and I and our son and a couple friends were over at Lake Concord Park. In case you are unaware, listener, in Casselberry on the second Friday of the month, there is a food truck rally. There's multiple food trucks and usually a band will come in and play live music. It's completely free. Well, the food's not free, but the ambiance and the venue right there at Lake Concord is free to the public. And we brought some lawn chairs out and we're geared up to have a great time. I was just getting over a sickness and so was looking forward to being kind of back out in the world again. But unfortunately, God had other plans. It rained on us. But the reason I'm bringing this up in Casselberry in the News is that the city, led by Lynn Hoppus and Rob Bickerstaff and others, city employees quickly rallied together. They brought the band inside the commission chambers right there in City Hall, and they still had the band play. There were a few food trucks that stuck it out, and it was a great night, all things considered. I saw Dave Henson, our mayor, there, a couple other city commissioners. It's just a really great place to connect with friends, both old and new. And so thankful for the city for putting on these fun events.
Yeah, I think what I love about that, the weather really tried to dampen, no pun intended, the occasion. But, you know, improvising and putting the band in the city chambers, that's really cool, right? I mean, there can't be many times that the band says, oh, yeah, we played here and here and here, and we played the Casselberry City Chambers. And I just love that they were willing to do that, and the city was willing to do that. And they just made it work, because so often life is about turning lemons into lemonade, right? And good job, City of Casselberry, on doing that and providing a memorable night for so many in our community.
Yes, Andy, that is correct. And speaking of the city, our second news bulletin is the fact that the city has made some updates regarding the situation there at the Brightwater Development Complex. Andy, you were there at the City Commission meeting and have a report for us.
Yeah, absolutely. This past Monday, well, actually a Monday week ago, as you're listening to this, our commission meeting met, and they received a presentation from some architects about plans for what the Bright House development is going to look like. Now, remember, listeners, this is the old Casselberry house right in the center of our community, a 15 acres, beautiful old Gamble Rogers home that is going to be turned into an event center and a park. And wow, the plans for that property look fantastic. And I was really impressed with the two options that they were presented. I was also impressed that we had a number of citizens come out to the meeting. Normally, there's not many folks in the audience, just nerds like me. And they were very vocal and very engaged in the process as well. There was lots of constructive comments about parking and sole use for the property as opposed to trying to put several other things on there. But the project is moving forward, and it's moving forward in an exciting way. And as we said before, I think as things develop, we will all see what a jewel in Casselberry's crown this park and property will become.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, we'll be back with a special guest after a short break.
And now, Casselberry, a mental health break with Dulce Merida.
Life is busy and being human is messy. If there is something that you already know you have to do, such as housework, folding laundry, washing dishes for the 5th time in one day, try doing it while listening or doing something that you love, like dancing or listening to music or simply listening to a podcast like this one.
The Casselberry Chamber of Commerce is proud to present our 11th annual Food and Wine Festival. Join us Monday, November 1st at Lake Concord Park for an exciting evening sampling the best food, wine, and beers that restaurants in our community have to offer. There will also be a huge silent auction as well as live entertainment. All proceeds go to local nonprofits that help make Casselberry great. Get your tickets at CasselberryFoodWineFest.com. That's CasselberryFoodWineFest.com. The Food and Wine Festival and the Casselberry Chamber of Commerce are proud sponsors of the What's Up Casselberry podcast.
Welcome back to the show, listeners. We have a very busy lady, so busy that her notifications may keep buzzing during this interview. Her name is Amy Lockheart. She is one of our county commissioners, and we are honored that she is with us today on location from her backyard. So welcome, Amy.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here. It'd probably be better to be with you.
Most people say it's normally better to talk to us and meet us through Zoom because we're not as engaging as we think. So it keeps the facade up a little bit. But Amy, as we start this conversation, let's just start with a little icebreaker to introduce you. Although I would be surprised if there's many people in Seminole County who don't know of you or haven't come across some of your influence somewhere. So a little mind association game. This is how it works. Drew and I will say a word. You say the first thing that comes into your mind. Okay?
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Seminole County.
Natural.
Excellent. Excellent. What about the city of Casselberry?
Art house.
It's good. We love our art house. Leadership.
Hard.
Definitely. Not for everyone. Little Seminole County nugget. Chickens.
Entertaining.
Entertaining. You know why I asked that question, Drew? I put that in there because Amy, probably somewhere pretty close to your backyard, has some chickens, right, Amy?
I do. We watch chicken TV. We go out and we just sit and watch the chickens. They're the best.
Are your chickens named?
A couple of them are. We had chickens that all had names, and then over time they meet an untimely end, and then it's sad. So we decided to stop naming them.
Did you name one of them Nugget or something like that?
No, but that would be funny. That would be funny.
Barbecued.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Well, not enough of this. All right, so Amy, you have been for a long time in our community somewhat of a rock star. Your influence, like I said earlier, is all over our community, and our community is a better place because of that. But playing off this rock star idea, if Rolling Stone magazine were to write an article about you, what would the title of that article be and why?
That's a tough one. I don't think of myself as a rock star in any way, shape, or form. So maybe something along the lines of boring, not that bad.
Boring, but not that bad. There's an aspirational goal.
Well, I started, you think of rock stars and there's always something in their life that's, incredibly entertaining or salacious. And I got nothing. I got boring. My personal life is pretty boring. So, but I'll tell you, sometimes very happy for that.
So I would say you maybe more of like a Beach Boys vibe. Just, very clean cut, chill. There you go. Well, Amy,
not a whole lot of drugs and rock and roll going on around here.
That's probably a good thing. I would have first heard your name and perhaps our other listeners as well during your days as the school board, serving on the school board prior to joining our county commission. And we've obviously, as you mentioned, leadership is challenging and you've led in multiple different facets. What are some of maybe the lessons you've learned either through your time as a Seminole County Commissioner or even previously as a school board member?
You learn a lot. The more you get to know people, which is really the biggest part of this job, and respecting that and recognizing that most of the time you're going to make someone unhappy because you have to make the decision that you believe is the best decision for the most people. And that sometimes leaves some people unhappy and being okay with that. That's a hard lesson to learn, but that's really what representing people is all about, is getting to know them as best you can so that you can represent them the best way you can.
I love that. The essence of any community is the relationships we share. And as much as we'd like to please everybody, it's just impossible to do so. Amy, talking about people we can't please, and I got a few of them in my life as well. I remember when you were on the school board, you were telling me about a class that you went to where you learned to pay attention to people and communicate respect to people, even when they were saying some pretty mean things about you. I don't know if you remember that conversation, but it's really stuck with me and has become something that I've tried to build into my life and leadership. How do you deal with difficult people? That's an easy question, huh?
Right. So depending on the day, and assuming that, you take a deep breath, because sometimes, difficult people catch you off guard. But when you're encountering a situation where there might be some bullets pointed in your direction, I try to remember that whatever it is that people are bringing to the table, whatever it is that they're upset about, it really isn't about me. It's a circumstance. I'm the recipient. I happen to be in the crossfire, but taking the personal nature out of it and really realizing that this person is going through something, whatever it may be. They're having a challenge, a struggle, something difficult happening in their life. And if you take the focus off of being the recipient of whatever it is that they're throwing your direction and think more about the fact that this is something that they're going through and I have to help them through whatever it is. I'm along the journey with them to try to help figure out how to solve the problem. And sometimes the problem can't be solved, and that's okay. But to try and reflect back to them what it is, to not respond to them in the way that they come at you, but to take a deep breath and try to respond to them in a way that lets them know that I'm on their team and we're going to try and work through this together. It helps to just kind of take the temperature down a little bit.
Hurt people, right? And if we can focus on not receiving that hurt, but on helping heal that hurt in the other person, then we're not only kind of protecting ourselves a little bit, but we're actually helping them as well.
And sometimes you're on the receiving end of some anger that you earned. Right? Because we make mistakes and that's okay too. And I think as elected officials and as leaders, if we're not willing to be genuine and honest with the people we represent that, hey, we sometimes mess up and we have to ask for forgiveness for that and hope that people can help us move forward, that is so critically important. And I think, especially in politics today, I see a lot of people just not wanting to be responsible for anything, even if it is their doing. And I think that hurts our ability to really be effective leaders and effective representatives.
Ascertaining from both your leadership lesson question as well as this discussion about dealing with difficult people is that as a servant leader representing our city, you have a heart for people. And that obviously is so important. Obviously, not everyone is going to be able to meet you personally or able to have a conversation like this with you, but I'm so thankful for your desire to really connect with people throughout our county. As a county commissioner, what is something that maybe you've learned about the semantics of the job, the way this job has run, that's different from when you served in the school board? What's something unique about your role now in terms of leading our county?
Yeah, it's interesting. Many of the issues are different. Of course, you're jumping from education to potholes and land use, and my garbage wasn't picked up, right? And so you would think, I thought, well, if I can handle a mom who is upset about something that's happened with her child and we can work through that together, surely I can work through helping someone who didn't get their garbage picked up. I mean, that doesn't seem to be that. No, that is not true. Garbage is very important. I think the unique thing about being a county commissioner and serving county-wide like we do, we don't just serve the district that we live in. We are so diverse, from our rural area to some very urban areas around Altamont Springs. And that makes Seminole County super special because we're so small. Right. In land mass. We are one of the smallest counties in the state, but we are so incredibly diverse. That's been really, really cool.
Yeah, I love that. It's one of the great reasons to live in our county. So talking about our county, Amy, what are some of the most exciting things that you see happening in our county right now?
Goodness, there's a lot going on. We have great partnerships, whether it's with the school district or Seminole State College or working with our local businesses. The whole COVID thing, if we can find some good from the COVID thing, it's that we have really been forced to work better with one another with the resources that we've been given through this to really help people and put the funding and the support where it's needed most. And so that's required us to work together a lot better with a lot of different organizations. And that's been really tremendous if something good has come from that.
Yeah, that is exciting. That is fantastic. And you're right. We do have a lot of amazing resources. All right, Amy, 2-part question. Share about an opportunity you're excited about in regards to what's happening in Seminole County, as well as a potential threat or challenge that our county needs to be aware of.
I think a really exciting opportunity that we have, which is going to be a multi-year project, is the redevelopment of the 5 Points complex, which is the county's governmental complex that sits in the heart geographically of our county. Right now, we have agencies that are spread out all over the place, and we have a great opportunity to bring all of the resources together to one campus, and that is going to be huge. It sounds kind of boring to John Q. Public, but I think it's going to improve our quality of life for our citizens because it'll be one-stop shopping. If you need to go to an office rather than having to go to Airport Boulevard and then go downtown and then, now you have to go have this paper signed, down on Lake Mary Boulevard, it'll be one-stop shopping, and we'll be able to really better utilize the financial resources that we have because everybody will be together. So I'm excited about that. I think a challenge that we have is really more back to the conversation about relationships. I think we as leaders in the community, not just elected leaders, but all leaders in the community, are going to need to help bring a conversation back to the fact that we can disagree with one another without thinking that just because we disagree, we're bad people. And I'm watching the discourse, not just at the Board of County Commissioners meetings, but I'm seeing it at school board meetings. I'm seeing it on TV. We see it everywhere. Now, instead of just saying, I hear you and I disagree with you, and here is why. Now we suddenly are thinking that just because someone disagrees with us, they're a bad person. And I don't know how we got here, but as leaders in this community, we have to figure out a way to ratchet that rhetoric back and really start the process of healing this community, because there have been a lot of hurts in a lot of different areas, and I see them continuing. And so I don't have the answer to that, but I know it's a challenge and I know we have to address it. This community is too important to continue to allow this.
Kind of speaks, Amy, to what you said earlier about dealing with difficult people, but just all people in general, this idea that in leadership, in representing people, there's going to be a segment of those you lead that you disagree with, or they disagree with you, and how to, like you said, how to speak in a manner that but we still have the same larger goal, which is to make our city a better place. But you're right. It suddenly becomes very personal in the attacks, or you're completely written off because you disagree on a particular subject. I'm noting that as well. So that's a really, really important observation, and curious to see how we as collective leaders move towards people in the future.
And respect is earned as it's as it's modeled, right? And I think in all of our leadership, we try to model that. And you certainly do a great job of that, Amy, on a much bigger platform than we have. But talking about, respect and responsibility, if you had a megaphone that was loud enough that everybody in Seminole County could hear you say something for 30 seconds, what would you want to say to the citizens of Seminole County?
That's hard. It really is. There are so many things that I would want people to hear and to know. I think first and foremost, my first thing would be love your neighbor. That would be the thing I would say the loudest. Everything else is fixed for the most part if we just love our neighbors. Whatever that looks like. That doesn't take 30 seconds.
No, that's a great answer.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that, and I'm saying that to myself too, right? Because it's so easy to be thoroughly annoyed with the person that cuts you off in traffic or the person who's in the Publix line with more than 10 items, right? I mean, it's the little things like that I think get me agitated anyway. And so to have that grace and just remember that is what we're supposed to be about. Where I really think Seminole County, I love our people. We have a great community. And I would just encourage us all to remind one another that that's what we're supposed to be here doing, is loving one another.
So Amy, school board member, college trustee, county commissioner, you've achieved a lot, but my sense is the best is yet still ahead. What does the future look like?
That's a great question. Years ago, I said, I'll do whatever God wants me to do. Just don't put me in charge of the children's ministry at church. And then I wound up a year later in charge of the children's ministry at church. And so I've learned there have been a couple things like that I've said, all right, God, whatever you want me to do, but not.
Yeah.
And then I've wound up squarely in the middle of whatever that was.
So maybe
never do. So
God,
I have learned.
God, don't make me a billionaire. Maybe something like that, right?
Right. That'd be great. I've learned from that experience to never say never. Right. So I love learning new things. I love meeting new people. I love new challenges. So I don't know what the future holds, but whatever comes my direction, I'm excited to do it if it can help our community, for sure.
Thank you for all that you have done and for remaining so people and community focused as you've done it. Amy, there are many folks in our community who know and love you, but I'm sure there are some that would like to get in touch. Maybe they got a question. They want to find out more about how things work. How do people contact you?
They can call my cell phone, 407-340-9369. They can email me at lockhart@seminolecountyfl.gov. I'm on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I've been informed by my 21 and 25-year-old that my social media is pretty boring. So I don't know why you would follow, but you can.
We won't see you on TikTok anytime soon, Amy. No.
I'm not a TikToker.
No. And just to confirm, listeners, this was a big deal. A county commissioner gave out her personal cell phone number. And I just want to confirm that was her real number as well. It wasn't like when I was in middle school and girls would give me the wrong phone number. That's the legit thing. So I really appreciate your transparency there. Amy, thank you so much for your time today. I know you've got a lot going on. We're so grateful for it, but we're also so grateful for the leadership that you offer in so many ways to so many in our county. Thanks so much for being with us today. Listeners, sorry about the interruptions on that interview. I hope you're able to make out what Amy said because she really is a blessing in our community. She's a fount of knowledge and wisdom, and we were honored that she would spend some of her precious time today sharing with us and the people of Casselberry some of the great things that are happening around us and some important principles of leadership. Amy is an inspirational figure in our community. Talking about inspiration, Drew, as we prepare to close, I know that you've got some inspirational words for us as well.
I do, Andy. Thank you. And this quote really hits me right between the eyes as I recognize that sometimes, many times, in fact, I fall short of the goals I have for myself. But here it is. It's not about being the best. It's about being better than you were yesterday. It's not about being the best. It's about being better than you were yesterday. I couldn't find who shared that quote, but it's so applicable to life. I think for so many, maybe you, listener, are fearful of giving up too soon or having to step away from something because you just can't accomplish what you sought out to accomplish. But the reality is, in order to be the best or pursue being the best, sometimes you just have to give it a try, a day after day after day. It's not necessarily about being the best instantly. Like for me, guitar right now, I'm struggling, but I want to learn. And so I'm trying every day about getting a little bit better than you were the day before.
Drew, that's great. That's a wonderful encouragement for all of us. There is the opportunity, clearly, for all of us to get better. So let's grab that opportunity today. Friends, thank you so much for listening to our podcast. As we conclude, let me hear a bye from Drew.
Bye.
That was so good. And a goodbye from Robin.
Goodbye.
And collectively, we want to thank you for listening to the What's Up Casselberry podcast, your favorite podcast for local news that is brought to you on numerous platforms, on your podcast provider, on our website. You can find us on social media, all with the name What's Up Casselberry. Make sure you visit our website as well to listen to some previous episodes and find out what we're all about. Until next week, listener, take care and have a great week. Bye-bye.